Not unmuting.
What about your phone?
No, that's controls are through here.
Can you hear us now? Yes. Oh my gosh. It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Lots of echo several times over.
My gosh. There shouldn't be any more though. Is it working now?
We were just talking about how it's such a Monday and you couldn't even hear us. And then that happens. So I don't know if you guys are feeling that it's Monday, but we sure are.
We're happy to be here.
So welcome. We are excited to have you to talk about 2.3, 2.3. Why do we say it? 2.3.
Our 2.3 software is what I usually call it.
And it says point, 2.3. If it's your first Frank.
Frank, we feel ya.
No one else knows what Frank said.
He needs a beer.
On a Monday morning?
At 9 o'clock or whatever time it is.
My water's going to have to do.
If you want to talk to us, we would love it. Go to your control panel, go down to questions or chat, and I am monitoring that, and we will Margarita Monday, Eric. That sounds fun. And I'll get your chat. We'll ask questions live, comments, anything at all. We want to hear from you. We have you all muted so that to make it just a little bit easier, that's why we use the questions in the chat options. Did I miss anything?
And we're recording this.
And we're recording.
Yes. So we will post this on our YouTube channel and then social media. We'll also send you guys a link tomorrow with the webinar follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We already have a question.
What is it?
How many IQ Hardwire 16 to wireless modules can be installed on one panel? I don't know.
Good question. Who asked that question?
Tim.
Tim. Great question, Tim. So how many, Kelsey, how many Hardwire 16s can you pair with an IQ panel?
A lot.
Great answer, Kelsey. Okay.
That's.
Is there a maximum number?
4.
You're just throwing that out there?
I'm not sure.
How many zones can each Hardwire 16 do?
Oh, zone 16.
So how many zones can the panel do? Take that divided by 16.
No, but can you have more than one?
It's just a number. It's a matter of how many zones you're doing.
So you can take multiple sensors and put it on one zone.
So I know some people in a Hardwire scenario will actually take, all the windows in the living room and chain them together in one. So if you open up the living room window over here, it says living room window open. You open it over here, it says living room window open. You could open all of them at the same time. It just says living room window open. It's considered one zone for all of them. Okay. So depending on how many zones you have in a Hardwire scenario, whether they're all chained together or they're individually wired, determines how many zones you need. And you can do as many zones as the panel has. So if you have 30 zones on your house, you would need probably 2 Hardwire 16s to accomplish both of those.
How many zones can the panel do? I always get this confused. Is it 100 and...
It's 128, or is that C-Wave?
All right, so since the ladies are confused on this, the first person who can correctly tell me how many zones the IQ panel can support, security zones IQ panel support, will get a t-shirt.
Ooh, I like it. Tim also had another question earlier on. Okay, customer ID says 128.
Is that what it is? Was I right?
Who is customer ID?
I'm not sure.
Whoever customer ID is, you're disqualified because you put the word name customer ID into your thing. I really wish I could have given it to you. So who's the next one?
Chris Jackson.
Chris Jackson. Nice work, buddy. T-shirt for you. So.
Oh, Dave Simonetti is customer ID. Okay, so.
Oh, it's Dave Simonetti?
Yeah.
Oh,
do you know who that is?
We'll do. I feel they'll both.
Yes, I do know who Dave Simonetti is. Well, we'll give it both. Chris Jackson and Dave Simonetti.
Yep. Send us your sizes so we can get that for you. So it's 128 zones. Mm-hmm. Security zones.
Security zones.
Okay. Tim had another question.
Okay.
When will partitions be available?
Great question, Tim. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that today.
Okay, I think that's all the questions before we even jump in.
Well, before we dive into the webinar content, there is a guest here today.
Me.
Oh,
just kidding.
Oh,
Kelsey, show him that beautiful trophy.
This is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Let me show you. It's a light bulb.
It's a light bulb. And we got it for the best overall product
at
Tech Home Brilliance.
It's the Tech Home Brilliance Award. So there's a show in Arizona, I believe it was this year. So the Tech Home series of trade shows is focused around technology in the home, builders, things like that. They have the Tech Home Builder Show. They have the Tech Home, you know, a bunch of different series of these. So the show we went to last week, we got back to our table after being on a conference call. Kim Parker, our Vice President of Sales, said, look what I found on the table. And voila, apparently we had won best overall product and hadn't even known that we had entered.
Because no one was there.
That's a fantastic thing. It's yet another example of how IQ Panel is leading the pack on things. So, you know, really exciting.
Gosh.
So special thanks to the Tech Home crew for awarding us that, and we really appreciate it. We're going to be posting that on social media, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Carolyn has a question. I talked to Carolyn earlier today on the phone. Hi. She wants to know if the Android emulator is available yet. I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure. So I told her to get on the webinar so she could ask
We've got another version of it, and there were some little weird things happening with it. So we said no. We went back to our developer and said, tweak this, change that, things like that. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for sometime this week.
Oh, that's exciting.
But you know, once we get the software done, we still have to get it up on the Google Play Store, and that'll be a little bit of time as well. And I don't know how much time. It could be 15 minutes. It could be 15 days. So I don't know how long they take to approve things.
Okay.
So, great question.
We have a lot of questions, but I feel like we'll answer them.
Possibly. Is it related to today's topics?
I think so.
Well, as part of our 2.3 software update, is it just me, or is there like a reminder on my Outlook on the screen? That's yours.
That's
okay,
mine.
good. So they're not seeing that.
No.
Okay, good. So we said that this was our Christmas gift to you, the 2.3 software. And we wanted to give you this gift. And as such, I don't want to choose which present you guys open first. So I would like to know from the audience today, which present would you like to open? The brown one, the gray one, the green one, the black one, the blue one, or the yellow one?
I had no idea you were doing this. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting lots of answers.
Yellow.
Yellow's the first one.
Yellow's the first one. What's the most?
I don't know.
I think B. Newman should get a T-shirt for.
You need a pin. Hold on.
B. Newman should get a T-shirt for being first to chime in. Good job on that. Let's go with majority right now.
Well, it's hard to tell. I think yellow's a good one.
Just look at it. You're just gonna vote that
Yellow.
way? All right, yellow it is. Yellow it is.
Write down everyone who's getting a T-shirt.
Jason and Eddie, B. Newman, and was it Chris Jackson?
Yes. I keep thinking of that.
Okay.
Sorry, Miss Jackson's on school.
That's potentially offensive to somebody, Whitney.
Oh,
or you're going to make people dance. Either one. Let's look at the gold present. Oh, someone wants to go for the gold first, and I appreciate that. The gold present is Qualsys Go's commercial. We already have commercial-based features in the IQ panel. PowerG sensors, Z-Wave support, live view, the ability to connect hardwire systems. There's a lot of commercial systems out that are hardwired. You can do disarm photos so you can see your employees when they come home. And of course, all the features that Alarm.com brings in.
Instead of coming home?
Is that what I said? Disarm photos so when they get into the office, you can see when they arrived, see that it's them, things like that. And then of course, all the features that come along with Alarm.com's commercial features, things like auto arming at night and things like that. But with the 2.3 software update, we're getting some really, really cool stuff. The first one is, just like people asking, partitions. Partitions with screen lock. You're going to get 4 partitions and a screen lock. So watch this cool function. The screen is actually locked, and in order to get into it, I have to type in my code. Now, the other thing that I haven't said yet is 6-digit codes. So that one pops in, and voila, now I've got into my screen. And because you'll see that there's no partitions here because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 didn't have access to those partitions. If I touch here, I go to lock screen. Okay, goes back to my screen lock. I'll just do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, and voila, I've now got 2 partitions visible because that person had 2 partitions, and it's simply a swipe up and down. The same as lights, the same as locks. You know, very, very intuitive, and you can custom name them. So this is the office, this is the warehouse, and again, you can do up to 4 partitions. So pretty exciting. Partitions is something that people have been asking for a lot, and with combining that with the PowerG, the Z-Wave, you know, live view, the ability to view video cameras, things like that, all these features that we already had, this is really turning the IQ panel into a true commercial panel. But that's not all. We're also giving you default commercial device names. Let me show you this. So you can actually go in, and when you go into the software, I don't think this thing's charging, which is why it keeps going out, but that's okay. I think my power plug is bad. Will you go grab the power plug out of my office?
I have one in my office.
That'll work too. So if I go into installation, devices, okay, and security sensors, and I'm going to add a sensor, you'll notice here that all the sensor names are office names. Office front door, office back door, office door, front door, office window, back door, storage room, storage window, common area, warehouse, you know, things like that. They're all commercial-based names. So to make it easy for you to learn sensors in, you're going to automatically get, you know, of course you could do custom names, but this is going to automatically default to commercial-based names to make your installation process even easier. So very exciting there. And of course, you don't have to use this because all you have to do is type in the keyboard and you could do those, and then the custom text-to-speech will speak it. So that's the next piece. The other thing is 6-digit passcodes. You guys saw on there that you have the option now to have 6-digit codes instead of 4-digit codes. If that works better for employee IDs or you just want added security, that's another great addition to it. And then finally, the ability for expanded Z-Wave device support. And this means that your number of supported thermostats goes to 10, and the number of supported door locks goes to 10. Those were previously smaller. So for another t-shirt, who can tell me what the new supported Z-Wave device limit is? Previously it was something, and if now we go to 10 door locks and 10 thermostats, what is the new number of supported Z-Wave devices on the IQ panel? You're going to have to do a little bit of math. You're going to have to know how many it was before.
10.
And then how many total Z-Wave devices can you now learn into the IQ panel?
232.
So,
Says
I've got
10.
lots of people guessing. Are you just looking at me?
Well, I'm looking. I don't know the answer.
Okay, well, stop looking at me.
Oh,
we're looking at this. Okay, and while we're getting those answers, okay, you said there's questions. So let's
Oh my
see
gosh,
what the
there's
questions
so
are.
many questions.
Okay.
Okay, we'll hold that one. We'll hold that one. Hold on.
Someone.
Okay, if an
Oh,
IQ
go ahead.
panel is paired to another Z-Wave smart home system like HomeSeer or SmartThings, are security sensors available to the smart home system? So that's a question from Eric. So I think he's asking if it's compatible with.
He's asking if you were to learn this into another smart home hub, does this give all its security sensors to the smart home hub and you can use security through the smart home hub? And the answer is no.
Okay. Frank asked, would access control module for alarm.com be compatible with the IQ panel? I'm not really sure what that means.
Oh, the access control. So on Friday or Thursday, we had access control put into our building here, the alarm.com access control.
Okay.
So it's keypad, things like that. That is a separate system. It would still work with this panel just fine. It's working in here. It's not part of the IQ panel's interface. So it's not like you go in and configure your access control, but it's tied in. So like the user codes that are here are now pushed to the back end, and that's all tied into the whole system. So yes and no. I'm not familiar enough because it just barely got installed on how access control blends in, but the short and easy answer is absolutely yes. There's going to be no issues with doing an alarm.com access control system and then the IQ panel as your hub for the office. So great question.
What number of zones per partition?
That's a good one.
Or can you only have
really
the total number on the panel?
It's just the total number.
Okay.
So it would be, if you assign 100 zones to the partition 1, then you would have the remaining zones would be available for whichever partition. So it's just up to the available number.
Okay. Eric asks, is this available on any Qualsys panel with the new 2.3 software downloaded?
Any IQ panel 2 or 2 plus will be eligible for the 2.3 software update. So yes, great question.
Scott asked, are partitions available with residential also?
They certainly are. If you wanted to say that you've got like a home office out in the back and you wanted that to be on a separate partition, all you have to do is go into settings and enable partitions, and voila, all the sensors you assign to that partition would be able to stay as part of that. Now, the other cool thing about this is because you've got remotes, you can support up to 3 IQ remotes on the system. Each remote is assigned to a partition. So you might say the home office is this IQ remote. It's the one I already have, right? Or you'd say, well, we've also got this, you know, outside garage workshop type area. And the new IQ remote that you guys had never seen
I
before.
was just gonna say, this is new.
Surprise! New IQ
That's when
remote.
we're like, wait a minute, what?
So this is the new IQ remote. I'm just going to give you a quick little sneak peek.
You're welcome.
Whoa. We're not going to show too much, but we'll show more on a later webinar when we do it. But this is the new IQ remote that's coming out the 1st of January. But this, you can assign this to be the workshop garage area. This could be the office, and then this could be the main house. You'd be able to access all 3 partitions from the primary panel if you had the right user code. And then this would be assigned only to those partitions where they're located.
Okay, perfect. Speaking of the secondary,
okay.
Jason asks, are they still wireless? It would be awesome if we had a hardwire option for large commercial for secondary panels. Now, I have a question to follow up with this.
Okay.
I like how he grinned. With PowerG, if you're using the IQ Panel 2 Plus with PowerG, are all of those devices now compatible? Because I know we had issues before.
Like
Having compatibility, on the
partitions?
secondaries. They have secondary panels on PowerG that we weren't able to use yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the PowerG secondary, the rubber button keypad that you can use.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay.
Okay, so that works. And that's that's wireless, or is that hardwired?
That's a PowerG device. We haven't talked about PowerG devices yet. We
Oh,
talked
sorry.
about
Are we
PowerG devices
getting there?
in general. We are going to get there.
Okay, sorry.
That is the second gift of Christmas.
Okay, well then we'll hold that question.
Yeah. Well, let's not hold it. Let's go right to it.
Well, hold on. We
have added support for
Hold
for new PowerG devices. Okay. We've got the new smoke detector, the CO detector, the recessed contact, the new vanishing door window, the new door window with the auxiliary input, the outdoor door window, the 360-degree ceiling mount motion detector, and the 2-way wireless keypad arming station, which is that rubber button keypad. So now, let's say you were in a warehouse type scenario and you needed a keypad all the way at the back of the warehouse, and you know that your Wi-Fi isn't strong enough, so you need either, like he was asking, who was asking that about the hardwired keypad?
You're asking me to go find Jason.
Jason gets a t-shirt. Write that down. So, based on the fact that you need a keypad way over there, you could run wire and rent a scissor lift and do all that nonsense, or you can put in the PowerG wireless one and use PowerG through it, and it would work just fine. So yes, that 2-way wireless keypad arming station, there's the part number right on your screen, will be compatible with the IQ panel as of the 2.3 software. So very exciting.
We get phone calls about that.
Yeah, Billy, we do.
Christopher, will it be UL commercial rated?
Great question. Great question. That UL rating, the way the UL rating works is you have to put everything into the panel first, then it has to be working, tested fully, and then you send it to UL, and then they look at it. They do all their tests and things like that. They give you any feedback back. You have to make further tweaks, things like that. We've been doing this process now for 6 months to a year with UL, trying to get it all finished. I believe all of their stuff is done, and it's just in final approval stages. So it's very, very close, if not imminent. So legally, if you are following the UL certification and only installing UL certified stuff for commercial Berg, and I think it's 1610, I think is the code, but don't quote me on that.
I believe you.
Then that certification won't be ready at the time when we do the software update, but it will be shortly after that.
Okay,
So
Frank has a good follow-up question.
Okay.
Are Z-Wave devices commercial certified?
Good question. I don't know of any certification requirements for a Z-Wave device, so I can't answer that officially. So Frank, if you want to let us know what kind of, is that Frank Solomon?
Yeah.
He joins all the webinars.
Frank Martinez.
Oh, Frank Martinez. Oh, he's new.
I think we have Frank Solomon on here too.
Okay. Well, Frank, I appreciate that. That's a good question. I don't know, and if you want to elaborate, what are the requirements that you're aware of for a Z-Wave device to be commercial certified? I'd love to know what that is, and I would assume that there's some kind of rating that they have to have or things like that, and I would simply just look on the device itself to see if that particular device has it, and we can certainly check our devices, the devices we make, to see if they're rated for commercial use or things like that. So
seriously, so many questions.
Keep them coming. Let's go.
Can we have common zones on partitions?
Common zones. So you're saying, can we have a door window sensor that is learned into 2 different partitions?
Yes.
No. You cannot learn in a door window sensor. So when you learn in the door window sensor, okay, we go into here, 6-digit passcodes are so much more work now. So I'm going to go into the sensor learning process, installation, devices, security sensors. I'm going to go to edit sensor. You can see in this particular one, this is an S-line sensor, and you assign it to a partition name, and I can see I can go office, warehouse, partition 3, partition 4. So there's 4 different partition choices there, and I would need to choose which partition that particular sensor was assigned to. So great question there. Do you want to keep asking questions or do we open more presents?
We have so many questions.
Yeah, we
but
should probably keep.
Wait, why don't you
No,
answer your question first?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But, okay, so previously the
I wanna
Z-Wave,
know.
Z-Wave device limit was 128, I believe. Okay, and if I'm wrong on that and you correct me, you get a T-shirt. So the 128, and of that you could do 6 locks and 5 thermostats. Okay, so that would mean
to do the math here.
that would
Sorry.
mean that if it goes,
We need a phone. I wasn't listening. I'm answering
so it was
questions.
128
Yep.
sensors, and that was 5 thermostats and 6 locks. If
Let's
we're
notice
increasing
that
those
he
to
has
10,
to do the math too.
I hate math. I'm in marketing. We don't do math. We
I
leave that to
know.
the accounting team. Okay, that means we're adding 5 sensors here and 4 sensors here, so 128 plus 9 is your answer.
137.
137. Voila.
Is that not the answer that you had?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
128
I
plus,
thought you said
plus
something else.
128 plus 9. I don't do math.
I do remember my 9s.
I don't.
So
I'm glad.
Yep.
I'm glad you got it. So 137. So did anybody guess 137?
Oh. 127,
Oh,
133,
139.
127.
I don't think so.
Negative. But
Mm.
139 is closest, and 133. Those are close.
Well, it's possible that I'm wrong too. So we might have some people correcting me too.
No one is correcting you.
No one's
Oh,
correcting
now
me.
everyone now thinks they're 137.
Oh, look at that. Who's the first person?
Oh gosh. Scott, Saul.
Scott Hall. There you go, buddy. T-shirt for you.
I feel like
Nice work.
you get a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt, you get a t-shirt.
Hey, it's Christmas time.
Just saying.
It's Christmas time. We're giving gifts to everybody. So that's PowerG support. Okay. Let's go back to our next gift of Christmas. I'm gonna go back. Does anyone want to pick? So
Black,
we've done the gold one and we've done the blue one. So the gold
Chris
was our
says
commercial.
black.
Black. All right, we're going. Panel camera improvements. Boy, this one's a fun one. The panel camera has received significant improvements to the IQ panel. So first off, you can now, from your phone, peek in now and peek in next motion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my phone. I got my peek in now command, and ladies, why don't you smile for us?
We both do the same thing.
Okay, in my experience, this takes about 4 seconds to receive the command,
That's awfully
process
quick.
it,
Oh,
and
I was like,
so who
doing
knows
something
what that
else.
picture is going to be. So now it doesn't show on the panel, but it will show in my alarm.com app.
Does it show under images? Okay.
Oh, look at this lovely photo.
Did it turn out good or did we look
Look
ridiculous?
at that.
It's fine.
Peek in now at 12:25 and 15 seconds p.m. And I can download this picture, I can share it, I can delete it, whatever I like, right there from
That's
it.
awesome.
I could also do peek in next motion, and it would use the panel camera's motion detector, which you hopefully remember from a previous software update, to actually enable the ability to, when you walk in front of it, it would detect motion and then take that picture and send it to your phone.
So could I do something like when my phone pairs with Bluetooth disarming and then the next motion?
That's the second one.
Oh,
Disarm photos
I-
after remote disarm.
I don't have
That
my
is the
glasses
second
on.
one.
I can't see.
Huh?
Nope, can't see.
You don't do one of
anything.
these?
So now you can
sweet.
program the panel to say, after a Bluetooth disarm, the first motion you see, take a photograph. After
Perfect.
a key fob disarm, after remote disarm using your mobile app, after a remote disarm using the Amazon Echo or Google Home, using
Oh,
voice
that,
control, it now will say, okay, capture that photo and then do it. And it's actually really cool. So again,
This is
I
for
did
the
a
main
bunch of
panel only, right?
what's that?
This is for the main panel only, not the IQ remote.
Correct. Yep, it's doing it. So I've got a whole
Sorry.
bunch of pictures in here. You can actually go in and say remote disarm, and it will automatically capture the picture. So it's another disarm photo you can set up. So very exciting. So any questions about panel camera improvements?
It takes a picture after next motion or right away, asked Christopher.
Next.
Depends on how you do it. So for the disarm photos, it takes it after next motion. So if you disarm the system from your phone using Bluetooth, let's say you come home, there's that scenario where mom comes home, her hands are full, purse is still in her pocket, the system disarms, the front door unlocks, she walks inside, but she doesn't go near the panel. She puts her groceries down, she puts the kid down for a nap, and then decides after, getting the kid down for a nap and getting the groceries put away, I want to go down and read a book, and walks past where the panel is. Takes the photo then. It could have been 5 minutes, could have been 10 minutes, could have been 20 minutes after it, but it's going to take that first photo, and now dad at work gets that picture of mom peacefully walking into the living room with her book.
Rolando asks, do you have to add a feature in alarm.com service plan to get the peek in?
That's a good question.
Very good question. If you're not already setting your customers up on Interactive Gold, you are going to need to add the image sensor plan to their account so that you can take advantage of the peek in now. It basically, alarm.com treats it like an image sensor. You just don't have to install the hardware for an image sensor. And if you're not familiar with the image sensor, it's a great little device. You do have to have a separate card to install in the panel to make it compatible, but it's a motion sensor with a built-in still camera. But you'd install a separate card to make that work with here. But it's almost getting a free image sensor. For those of you familiar with the image sensor, the panel camera is almost like a free image sensor now. So you got free glass break, free motion detector, free image sensor, free key fobs with Bluetooth disarm, free camera. There's a lot of free stuff with this panel. There's a lot of value you're getting.
Okay, so Eric has a good question.
Okay.
If motion for the panel camera is set up for trigger only for automation, will it still trigger the camera on disarm? Does
Okay,
that make sense
repeat that
to you?
again.
So you've got the panel taking a picture after disarm, right? But what if you also use that same motion detector for automation? So if someone walks by, a light turns on. They're different?
It's the same. It's the same motion detector.
Okay, so it's fine.
It's still using the motion detector built into the panel. So yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
Intercom features coming?
Boy, that's one I want bad. That would be fantastic.
Good question.
We're still working on it. Yep. In fact, part of it, we talked about the new IQ remote. Part of this new IQ remote is, and I don't want to give away too much here, but this new IQ remote that's coming out has an octa-core processor.
What does that mean? That
So,
reminds me of
octa-core, octa means 8.
The bad guy on
Right.
Spider-Man?
Dr. Octopus
Is that
or
the
Doc
one?
Ock, yes. Similar to that, octa
Similar
means
to
8.
that, okay.
So octa means 8. The IQ panel has a quad-core processor. This has an octa-core processor, which basically means it's got twice the processing power of even the IQ panel.
Wow.
So we specifically are going with this new version because it's something that we'll be doing in the future to be able to do live view, to do all sorts of things. So there's a lot of stuff we've got planned with this new IQ remote.
Mordecai asked, does the system support key switch arming?
I have no idea what that means. That is a better question for our technical team. And if they were here, I would ask them.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, just because it sounds cool. Yes, definitely. I actually don't know. I actually don't know.
What that means either.
I don't know what key switch
Jason
is.
asks, if you're using PowerG, how many repeaters can be used?
Great question. I don't know the answer to that either. I assume we support a repeater, and my understanding is PowerG radios typically support up to 4, but I have not asked that question specifically in our particular scenario because I haven't encountered many homes. Up to this point, it's only been residential that have needed PowerG, or a PowerG repeater because of all the
powerful.
Now that it's commercial and we're using this for a commercial setting, that is going to be a very relevant and a very important question. So we'll find out the answer to that, and once we do, we'll send him a T-shirt along with that answer. So write his name down. He just he stumped us.
Wait, which one was it?
Yeah, right there.
If you can stump us, you definitely earn a T-shirt.
Okay, Mark is one of our
Oh, and
tech
T-Switch.
managers.
T-Switch stumped us too. He should get one too.
That was Mark.
That was Mordecai.
Mark is one of our technical guys. He says that no key switch, that's a hardwired connection. So while he stumped us, we got an answer. So I mean that
So
works.
key switch, I'm assuming, is the old school, like you turn on, like the old ones where you actually flip it. Mark, is that right? You have a security panel and it's a key where you actually have to turn it to arm it and disarm it? Because if that's the case, dang, Gina, that's old. So, yeah.
We have another question. The remote Will it have a replacement battery?
Not talking about any more stuff about remote.
Okay.
I'm teasing you a little bit with remotes, but this is not a what. This is not
What
a remote
about
webinar.
the new power supplies? That what is it? 7 volts power supplies for the IQ Panel 2. Or what? When will those ship in boxes?
Those are already in boxes.
Good
from what I
questions.
understand, right?
Good questions. I believe those are shipping with the new panels that are coming out, and will also be sold separately.
Yeah.
Yep. Good questions. Any more stuff related to the presents, or should we pick another present?
Pick another
Let's
present.
do another one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we've done gold, blue, and black.
So, what do you guys want? We've got green, gray, and brown left.
Brown. Who wants a brown present?
I got a brown
Green.
present for you.
Green.
Green?
Green's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're just gonna let
Green
that
it
comment
is.
slide.
Dealer branding.
This one's fun.
This is way fun. So, the first one is the on-screen billboard. So you guys already knew that you could take an SD card and put it in the side of the panel and put your own pictures on the IQ Panel screen. And people have been doing that. One thing that a lot of dealers have been asking for a long time is, can I make it so my customers can't delete them? I don't want my customers to delete the beautiful pictures, the marketing messages I have on there. Can I make it so they can't delete it? And now the answer is yes. So I'm going to go into here. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to go to, let's wait for it to load, and we go, by the way, the reason it takes a second to load is because it's authenticating your partition and then giving you only the stuff you can view. So it's calculating that. I go into settings and advanced. Notice I don't have to enter an installer code anymore because I did that on my screen lock. Okay, so, oh, you know what, this is, I need to do it in 2222 because this is a dealer branding. So go to lock screen, and I'm going to go to 2222. And I go into here, settings, and advanced settings, and I've got a new icon here, dealer branding. That dealer branding icon gives you 5 different icons. Contact info, we already knew we could change the contact info on a panel, so you can populate this automatically from alarm.com or manually enter it into every panel. You've also got load custom logo. You now can put your own, and that's the next feature. I meant to put that on here. You can actually load your own logo up here in place of whatever logo is there or whatever icon is there. So it comes default with an envelope icon.
Yes.
You can now put your own logo there. Now this is great news for alarm.com silver customers and below. Silver customers and above could do this automatically through alarm.com. If you were below that level, you couldn't have your own custom logo. Now you can. You simply put it on an SD card in a folder called logo and pop it on there, and you can load your own custom logo in there. You can see, please insert an SD card to continue. Kelsey, grab that micro SD card off my desk. So on-screen billboard is the one we were talking about. I can actually load photos onto here, and if I put my SD card in, I would load my photos onto here, and these would be up to 4 photos that cannot be deleted by the user, okay? And then you've got the ability to load help videos and then dealer branding settings. Let's say you don't want the on-screen billboard to appear. You want to load your photos on, but you don't want that to be there. You could then uncheck the box and it won't show those. So it prevents those from playing during the playing sequence. So here's my micro SD card. Okay. I'm going to pop it in the side here. I'm going to say load custom logo. And voila, I got 2 icons here. I've got an envelope icon. And I've got Kevin's wife. If you want to load Susie as the logo, voila, now my panel has Susie's beautiful face as the logo. And if I touch that, I can see Susie's pretty face. I did this for Kevin the other day as a joke when we did this. So now I've got Susie's pretty face, and then our logos and information, or our branding information on there.
We have questions about formatting, size, and things like that.
Yep, so great questions. Formatting, first off, to format it needs to be a JPEG. So that's the file type you need. It also needs to be 100 by 200. So 100 pixels tall, 200 pixels wide. And we'll have all this as part of our marketing release when 2.3 actually comes out to make it easy for you. But 100 pixels tall, 200 pixels wide, which is pretty small. If you've got Photoshop, you just want to have something that's 1:2 ratio, and then you want to shrink it down to be that size and export it as a JPEG. So that's the requirements for that.
We'll probably do a video.
Most likely do a video.
Point.
It is easy. The other thing that from a custom on-screen billboard standpoint, you want those images to be, I mean, you can really do almost anything, but they do have to be a JPEG and less than a meg each. for the file size. But in terms of making the scale and things like that, whatever you put in there, the panel's pretty good about auto sizing those.
Right.
But if you want to do exactly to the specs of the screen, I believe it's 1280 by 800 to be the exact size of the screen, so there's no formatting or ski-wampisness happening.
Perfect.
So I know we've got tons and tons of questions here. We've got so many people on today.
SD card. So it's a micro SD card that goes in the panel.
That's correct.
So we actually have an SD card that we
Adapter.
or
So these are
adapter,
pretty
yes.
cheap. You can get these from almost any electronics store, Walmart, department store, things like that. This just simply goes into here, and then you could take this big SD card and put it in your computer if that's what you have. There's a lot of computers now that even have micro SD card slots. I would make this a standard part of your technician's tool belt. He's got drills, he's got screwdrivers, hopefully he's got an SD card loaded up with all your custom branding as well. So
We have people asking about remote uploading files, and I know that's something we want.
we're working on it right now with alarm.com.
They also want to know when 2.3 will be available.
Good, very good question. 2.3 will be available very soon. We're in final stages of testing. I don't want to give you an exact date in case we find something and need to push it off, but I will tell you that I would be shocked if it was not in December. So it's coming in time for Christmas. So
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
User code names.
User code names.
I'm guessing they are asking if we're going to have that.
What does that mean? Like a code name? Like we should call you Thunder. What code name do you want, Whit?
That's Kelsey.
No, this.
That'll be our code name. We'll just switch.
We just switch. You be Whitney, you be Kelsey.
Okay.
What size micro do you recommend? This one's a 32.
Yeah, you really don't need anything big
It's been fine.
because the files that you're doing on it, if you're doing help videos, those have to be 200, no more than 200 megs. You're doing photos, those are less than a meg each. I mean, literally anything that's a gig or smaller is going to be fine. This one is a 32 gigabyte. A 16 gigabyte might be the smallest you could even buy.
We're
these days.
overachievers.
Yeah, well, you literally can't buy something smaller than that, and they're super affordable. So.
What do they need to save the file name as?
It can be whatever. It just needs to be a JPEG in the logo folder.
It needs to be in a folder called logo.
That's
Same with when you're doing custom photo frame images. It needs to be in a folder labeled photos.
Correct. Yep. Now, in the case of photos, as long as it's labeled photos, it's fine. In the case of the logo, it does have to be logo with a lowercase l. I've found. And whether or not they changed that in our final software release, I don't know. But when I did the file, the folder as a capital L, it didn't work. So
that's good to know.
Nice little tip there. So clarify on the code names. What are they asking for?
We're getting a lot of questions about usernames right
So there is as part of in fact, why don't we dive into the gray present, which is settings and diagnostics. Okay, so there's a lot of things we've got in here. You guys already know and love our on-screen sensor diagnostic tool to be able to see actual sensor range in the home. In fact, I was talking to a dealer named Scott up in Canada who has done some phenomenal things. And I believe we're going to have him on. I was hoping to have him on as a guest today, but I didn't see him on at the beginning of the webinar. But we'll have a full webinar with him on another day. And he's going to talk about how he took IQ Panel and has been doing it in places all over the place. In fact, he told me that he originally, he did it in a school. He used PowerG sensors and the IQ Panel. He did it in a school. He bid out 3 days worth of labor, and it took 10 hours for the install. He's like,
awesome.
Not having a scissor lift, not getting up on ladders, doing everything wireless, how easy everything is to pair with the panel. It was so easy and so awesome. He said that his technician time has been chopped by about 40% by switching to IQ Panel and PowerG for commercial stuff. So really, really awesome stuff.
We need him on.
Yeah,
That
we'll
sounds
definitely have
awesome.
him on and have him as one of our guests. But he was telling me a bunch of different things about how this stuff has happened. And they said that the one thing is the sensor test really, really impacted it, because what previously they would have to fiddle around with, is this sensor working, things like that. He goes, now they just slap all the sensors up and then go back to the panel, and then they do, look at the sensor signal strength on each one. And he goes, they can troubleshoot everything right from there. And between PowerG and the sensor test, they never have to worry about anything at all.
Especially in a system that large, that's huge.
It really makes it. And he's using all S-line sensors for residential, all PowerG sensors for commercial, and he says his business is just blowing up right now.
Wow.
So, really exciting. So the good news about that sensor test, a lot of people were asking, can I get that alarm.com? We don't have the full charting ability on alarm.com yet, but as of 2.3, you will get some of those signals that are sent up to the cloud. So you'll be able to see, I think it's like 1 or 2 signals per day are going to push to the alarm.com cloud. And now you'll be able to see what is that average signal strength in the home for a particular sensor.
Cool.
And the same thing for Z-Wave, that Z-Wave diagnostic tool that everyone loves so much. It's helping them diagnose the Z-Wave network, understand where all the things are. You're also going to get those signals, you know, not as many as you see on the panel, but a few of those signals are going to be sent to the cloud with 2.3. So very exciting. They're probably also asking about the user code syncing. That is something that is actually happening. Let's see if I can find the exact words here so I can quote it right. There's so many things in the settings and diagnostics. IQ remote link quality tools. You can actually see how good the signal is between the IQ remote and the panel. That's another settings and diagnostics improvement. The easy install wizard. Everybody loves that wizard to, you know, whether you're using it as a DIY type scenario or you're using it for a type of scenario where you want to just make sure that your technicians are all on the same page. This setup wizard here, you can actually go into wizard settings now, and you can customize and say, hey, we don't ever do, you know, let the, you know, the technician add the users because that's something the customer does. So you can uncheck this from the user from that section. So you can actually customize the wizard steps, and that customization of wizard steps happens on alarm.com as well. So you can actually go in and program and say, next time they launch the wizard, only launch it with these 4 steps. Maybe your company doesn't do any Z-Wave or the customer hasn't paid for any Z-Wave, so you don't want to launch Z-Wave,
Right.
you know, pairing as part of that wizard step, then you can have that taken out and it won't even appear. So nice way to customize that wizard. Local automation. Where is it? Automatically. Okay. There was another one, and it's, I don't know why it's not on the list, but it's the ability to all of the usernames now sync between alarm.com and the panel. Apparently they would sync the codes before, but they didn't sync the names. So now all the names are syncing up and working the right way.
You just answered Paul's question.
Well, I'm glad. There we go. Paul should get a t-shirt for that.
Write it down.
So good job, Paul. Good job asking the question that I answered. So, you know, previously, I was actually surprised when I saw this. I'm like, don't we already do that? But apparently this has been a big source of annoyance for some of our technicians out in the field that, you know, they were used to creating custom usernames, and now they're doing it on the panel, but up in the cloud, it just says user 1, user 2, user 3. So now it's actually syncing both ways, so all the names are passing back and forth.
Joseph asks, can you see Z-Wave diagnostics or sensor diagnostics on alarm.com?
So you can't see the full chart like we have on the screen right now, but you can see the signal strength. It reports the signal strength on alarm.com, so you can actually see that. So great question.
Perfect.
Yep.
Where do you see that there? Is it the remote?
It's on the remote toolkit. Yep.
Okay.
So you want to access the panel and then pull up the remote toolkit from there.
Perfect.
Yep. Other questions?
Christopher asked, do you have plans for the techs using the wizard to select pre-programmed templates on alarm.com? I feel like I vaguely know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's not part of 2.3 software. It is on the roadmap for future as we continue to improve the wizard and things like that. The problem with that is now the panel has to pull down what templates you have, make them available to you to see, and then you would do it. Because there's some companies that have literally dozens of templates. A template, ladies, is when you create a system where you say, hey, I'm going to say this is for my commercial template, and that would mean that all my entry delays are set to this, my exit delays are set to that, my rules are set to this, and they create a template so that when they push that out, even the support line, you know, the customer logo and the phone number and things like that, it gives you the commercial support line.
Cool. Yeah.
So you could say, hey, when I set the panel up, set it to template commercial, and then I've also got a template for residential, and I got a template for builder, and I got a template for whatever. You can create almost an infinite number of templates. And so they're asking, hey, that makes my job really easy because I don't have to do all the programming individually in the panel. Can I pull that from the panel instead? And the answer is not yet.
Okay.
Oh, water.
Tim asked, without partitions, can you lock out local Z-Wave control from the keypad, such as a thermostat? Could you do that using the lock code?
Huh?
Without partitions, can you lock out? So if I entered in my code 1234, could I not see my Z-Wave thermostat? based on my user code, but Kelsey could using.
Good. Okay. Good question. Let's talk
9876.
about partitions a little bit there. So first off, all Z-Wave devices are paired in with partition 1. You're not pairing Z-Wave devices into partition 2 and 3 yet. That is something
Okay,
that right
I answered
now.
someone's question incorrectly then.
Okay.
So Z-Wave on
So
partition
Z-Wave
1
is partition 1 only. Okay. And that would mean that if I type in, if I give Kelsey the code of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, and she only is granted access to partition 2, that would mean she could not see the Z-Wave devices, and she could only access the system from this panel, or it would only show her partition 2 from the primary.
So he's wondering without partitions.
Yeah.
Is his question.
So if you're just doing a normal residential house and
Okay.
I've got a 12-year-old kid, your son, that you
Oh,
don't
you're
want to
saying
manipulate
so
the
screen
thermostat.
lock.
Yeah, so that's
Got
what
it.
I was asking.
Not yet.
Screen
That
lock,
is
okay.
all part of the roadmap. We were getting screen lock implemented for partitions first, and then next in our next 2.4 software update, the ability to do some of that is planned. So
Okay.
our goal is to basically say, hey, based on a user, you can see this and this and this. We call that advanced user customization. This has been part of our roadmap that we've been building for probably 2 years now. So the ability to say, hey, you getting a phone call there?
Sorry.
All
If
her
it's
devices
important, you
are
should
going
take it.
off.
I don't know.
So in the event that you had someone, you say, hey, I don't want them to have access to lights. Maybe you give someone a guest code and you say, hey, I want to give them a guest code, but I don't want them to have access to partition 2. I don't want them to see my lights. I don't want them to adjust the thermostat, things like that. You could then
So
choose
using
all those
partitions,
things.
yes. Using lock screen, it's coming.
Correct.
Okay.
But lock screen without partitions is coming and will then give you the ability to do, the same thing you can do. Well, I guess you can't do it on your phone because I couldn't give you a code on my phone and say you can only view these apps. So it is something that's a lot more advanced than what most people are doing right now, but it is something pretty exciting. So
Todd asks, will the second generation of the IQ remote support viewing cameras? So live view, I imagine live answer. We got that question earlier.
it has the capability. We have
Sure.
not finished the software yet, and at launch it probably will be the same software as what you get, but there will be significant software updates coming for the IQ remote that will include live view and other exciting things. Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Let's go with our fourth present.
We're running out of time.
We are builder. We specifically got a lot of requests from dealers who are working with builders, and we get literally, Lauren is inundated with these requests. So thank you guys for partnering with builders. I think our builder webinar we did a few weeks ago was tremendously successful. A lot of you guys are out there talking with your builders, creating opportunities and bringing those opportunities to us. And now we're giving you free panels and free equipment and things like that, working with alarm.com on these. So it's very, very exciting. We're running into a few cases where someone is installing this in a home for a builder, but they're installing it. They made an agreement that every home is going to get a panel, okay? And then the home may or may not have a buyer. In some cases, that home could sit dormant for 1, 2, 3 months even. And they're saying, hey, all these features, people are showing the house, they're leaving doors unlocked, they're leaving the thermostat way up, they're leaving lights on, it's not saving energy. Is there a way that the panel, because it's not activated on alarm.com yet, can do some local automation?
Okay.
So there's a new feature on the panel called local automation, part of our 2.3 software update. You can see a screenshot of it here on the screen today. And if you enable this, it automatically locks all the doors at night. It sets all the thermostats to auto with a target temperature of 65 to 78. The first light you pair with the system will be turned on at night, and all other lights will be turned off at night. So it's a nice way of saving some energy, keeping the home safe, and hopefully, giving you something you can do until that time when you're able to activate an alarm.com account and generate a real customer. So
what if I
exciting.
just have a second property that doesn't have renters in it yet? Could you use this?
Well, if
this
you have a
one-
second property, did you build that property and you don't have an alarm.com account on it?
Maybe.
'Cause I have a second.
I don't have a second
Our
property.
first home, our first condo, we actually rent out. The market was such that we couldn't sell it, and now it's become a rental property for us. So we outgrew it. We moved into a new house, and now that is being rented out. We have a system in there, and we're every time we get new renters, every couple of years, we simply change out their user codes. The old ones don't have access, the new ones do. So it's very, very easy to manage that. There's never been a time for us when it wasn't occupied. But if let's say that our renters leave now, we've got 2 or 3 months, I'm not going to cancel my alarm.com account for 3 months and then reactivate it. That's not what this was intended for.
Okay.
It's, you know, I would continue to use my existing alarm.com account and use the energy saving features in there and the automation features in there. And then this is reserved for people who don't have alarm.com accounts assigned. So,
Okay.
yeah.
If you guys asked a question and we haven't answered it yet, please chat it again because this is really long and I'm not going to be able to find
We've
your
got
question.
so many people on the webinar
Yeah.
today. Guys, thanks again for joining. This has been really, really fun. I think we've covered all the things. We've opened up all our presents.
All of the
Which
things.
is very exciting.
There's lots of exciting things.
There's lots
This
of
is
things.
fun.
What's your favorite? Of all the things we talked about here, what's your favorite?
I like the camera features.
Okay.
So
Anyone in particular?
just the motion. So motion, it's going to send me a picture. It's perfect, I think. More than anything, I think, because we do use Bluetooth disarming. So
I like the peek in
Sure.
next motion for
Yeah.
me. I like to set, especially because, you know, this is my desk panel, so I sit it on my desk, and then I say peek in next motion when I leave to go to lunch, and then I can see you guys coming in and stealing stuff out of my desk.
I
So-
know for a fact you don't get disarmed right now.
that's true because you haven't been.
No, I wanted
actually
to do a
missed
funny series on Halloween, and like the week before, you said you weren't getting them.
I'm not. Something happened when we updated our panel that we have to,
Forever ago.
we have to add my disarm photos back in.
That is a
And
shame.
that's an important point. I mean, if you're getting disarm photos on your panel, but you're not getting them on your phone, it's something you have to go into alarm.com and set up the rule and do that. I just
Right.
haven't done it. So.
Okay, are you ready
Yeah.
for all of the questions?
Ready for all the questions? Hit us.
Okay. Jeff, is there a charge for software upgrades?
Not currently.
Not
So
from
this
us.
2.3 software is going to be absolutely free for you and your customers. So
Okay,
Merry
Pat,
Christmas.
can we use 2-wire smokes with sounders on the hardwire translator at this time?
good
We've had lots of
question. This is
questions.
about the IQ. So we've got a new device coming out called the IQ Hardwire 16 Fire. That is a hardwire translator device that does support 2-wire smokes, up to 16 of them. The answer is that we're still waiting on the certification, and I don't know what the holdup is. We talked about it again this morning. I believe we are shipping those now with the understanding that if you buy one, that you're not supposed to use it in a residential fire situation. So be watching for those, but those are imminent. Yeah, good
Customer Carter, I'm not sure why it says customer, asks for control 4 integration.
Control 4 integration, good question. It's on the roadmap. I know it's something that a lot of you guys have been asking for, and it is something that our development teams and Control 4's development teams have been working together on. I know there's several other panels in the alarm.com ecosystem that can do that, and that is something that we're working hard on for you. So, good question.
Todd wants to know how he gets his hands on that awesome glass you've been drinking out of.
Todd, we're going to send you one. Good question.
I knew he was going to say that.
Send Todd a glass. Do we have any glasses left?
Ooh, no, I might have shipped them all to a
We'll
holiday
check,
party.
we'll check.
We have mugs. Let's see. We have so many other questions.
There's a
Oh,
glass
we do
for
have
Todd.
Perfect.
There you go, Todd. Okay.
Okay. Kevin asks, do you anticipate the live camera feeds being available on the IQ remote?
Yes, indeed. Not yet. Not when we launch the new IQ remote. The current IQ remote, the processor is just not fast enough to support live view. We tried it, and it's not a great experience. So that's one of the reasons we went back and redesigned a new IQ remote with an octa-core processor that is just going to be phenomenal. So be watching for that at the beginning of the year. And then the software to be able to see live view and things like that will be coming shortly after.
I just like the way you say octa-core processor.
Octa-core
Yes,
processor.
that's
That's
how.
a fun one.
Christopher says, back to the camera, not sure if you said this, will be updated to live view motion remotely.
Good question. Not yet. So we've had a long roadmap for the camera. Roadmap number 1 was, disarm photos. Then it was alarm videos. And if you remember back, if you've been participating in our webinars, you've seen the process here. If you've been installing Qualys panels, you've seen the process. So it was disarm photos, then alarm videos, then disarm photos to the cloud. So that enabled the ability to do this. The other thing is the ability to use it as a motion sensor. So we did that in a previous software update. So now we're detecting motion with that camera. Now it's the ability to peek in now. And then next coming up will be the ability to do a live view and push that to alarm.com so you can see that feed live. And then, of course, from there, once we're able to do that and get the live answer, things like that, then the question that someone asked earlier today, which is, can I do, and then of course live view working on the remote, can I do video conferencing, what's the word I'm looking for, video intercom, between the remotes and the primary,
FaceTime?
and phone and my phone, things like that. That is on the roadmap, and it's certainly something we're looking at, something we're working hard to make a reality. As you can imagine, because much of this is dependent on Alarm.com's app and Alarm.com's software team, we have to work closely with them and make sure that we're providing all the things that they need to do this work, but that they're also balancing a lot of priorities just like we are. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it is something that is absolutely on a roadmap and something we're working very hard on together.
You have 3 minutes to answer a bazillion questions.
Okay. And we'll stay later if people need us to keep answering questions. So.
Okay. Oh, of course I lost my spot. Using the IQ Panel 2 without an Alarm.com in the future for a local alarm system.
No plans right now. If you're wanting to use it as a local alarm system without Alarm.com, you can certainly do that right now. I mean, that's what this thing that you're seeing on your screen was kind of designed to do. But again, it would be a local only. There wouldn't be a mobile app with it. So you'd have to make that decision.
Okay. Is there a limit on distance from an AC outlet? Sometimes the customer wants a keypad 30 feet or more away from the nearest outlet. Is there a fix coming? Isn't that the 7-volt?
That's the new 7-volt transformer. So you can buy a 7-volt transformer that allows you to do longer wire runs. And that's really more of a technical question. I would ask our technical support teams what the specs are on that. But yes, the answer is yes, you can do longer wire runs. Depending on the type of gauge wire you're using, you want to have a bigger gauge wire to allow those signals to get through easier. And then you also want that new 7-volt transformer that'll push more power from the plug to the panel without overloading it.
John wants to know regional sales rep responsible for certain territories. Kelsey will reach out to you. She has all of the sales information.
I
Yep.
do. Who is
Our
that?
Johnson Controls.
John Sanker.
Yep, our Johnson
Okay.
Controls team is awesome in all.
We have a
those
couple of them
areas.
on right
Yeah.
now too.
Okay, great.
Software update can be pushed through Alarm.com for existing panels, or does it have to be in the field?
Great
That's a good
question.
question.
It is all over the air. So if you want to, once the software update is available, you can do a couple different things. With a software update, you can set it to auto update. And when the software update is available via auto update, it will automatically update your software. If you want to push it, you can actually log on to your remote toolkit and check for an available update. It will say your current software is 2.2 and 2.3 is available, and it will prompt you. Do you want to download it? When you download it, you can choose, do you want to prompt the customer to reboot the panel, or do you want to force it to do it? So in the event that Kelsey's here and gets, she's the homeowner and I'm the dealer, I say push that software update to her and ask her when she wants to reboot. She suddenly gets a message popping up on her screen that says a new software update's been downloaded, click OK to reboot. And she goes, oh, okay, click, and it will reboot. Or I could say don't give her that option, and I could say push it without, and it would just reboot the panel automatically. So if she was in the middle of like swiping lights or something like that, it would reboot, which is why I personally suggest give them a call and say, hey, by the way, we got a new software update available. Want to let you know what's on there. I think it's a great opportunity to send an email to your customer. Hey, just letting you know, we're doing some, maintenance on your system. You're going to be getting these new features as part of this, part of this software update. We'll be updating all our panels at 2 a.m. on, Saturday the 14th, or, whatever that date ends up being, for you and for your timeline and for the software. You can decide what that is. We've all seen those kind of emails,
Yep.
System downtime or things like that.
Mhm.
This is a great opportunity for you to reach out to your customer, and more than anything else, start talking about these. Some of the new things we're doing in this new software are this and this and this. If you'd like to learn more, call us up. We've also got, don't forget, live view and these other things. If you'd like to add some new stuff to your system, call us up and we'd be happy to do that and upgrade you and things like that. So a lot of great opportunities there to reaching out with customers. But the short answer is yes, you control when the software update goes, if the software update goes, and how the software update goes.
In order to do the update, though, the panel has to be connected to Wi-Fi. Is that right?
Yes, very valid point. If you're not connecting all your panels to Wi-Fi today, you definitely need to be. That should be a common practice, is to be able to make sure that you've got that panel connected to Wi-Fi. And if it's not, the customer is going to see on their Manage My Home page that there is, the Wi-Fi wouldn't be connected. So you can see here, if they swipe over, this big green Wi-Fi icon would actually be red. And so it almost prompts them to want to connect their Wi-Fi anyway. So even if you didn't connect the Wi-Fi as a technician in the home, it's very possible that they could have anyway.
Perfect.
Good questions.
Started
Whitney, you're typing furiously
I
over
know.
there.
I started answering questions because they're still coming in.
Well, let's do this real quick. For those of you that can't stay any longer, we know we've run out of time. We really appreciate you joining today. Again,
Yes.
this webinar has been recorded. We'll make it available on our YouTube page
Yes.
later on today. We'll also send you a link to that in the follow-up email that you'll get tomorrow. So please take that, share it with everyone else. Make sure you know it. We really hope you love IQ Panel. You're enjoying it. If you haven't gotten your question answered today, we'd love to continue answering those questions. So stay on the line with us, and we'll continue answering that. If you're all done and you want to keep on getting back to your day and you're not curious about what other people are asking, then go ahead and drop off. We'll talk to you next time. And if we don't talk to you before Christmas, have a wonderful holiday. We really appreciate everything you guys do and really appreciate the business that you've given us over this past year. It's been a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to a really tremendous 2019. We've got a lot of fun things in store.
Yes,
it's going to be great.
Definitely.
So thank you very much.
Perfect.
Whitney, next question.
Oh my gosh. If we push software updates and the panel reboots, will it keep the panel remaining armed if already in that state? So an armed panel, push reboot, does it stay?
Great question. If the software update will wait until the panel's been disarmed to do the software update. It will never
That's good to
reboot
know.
an armed panel.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry, you're ready for another question.
Oh, yeah.
Will you have to repair Z-Wave devices to the IQ Panel Z-Wave radio? I'm not really sure what
And
scenario
your-
he's referring to.
After a software update? No. The software update, that's one of the really hard things, and that's one of the reasons our competition struggles so much with software updates, is to take your whole system down and then put the whole system back together again exactly as it was before. You almost have to like take a little vision of the system, all the sensors, all the Z-Wave, all the everything, all the information, all the security, all the user codes, everything aside, update the software, and then bring it all back and make sure it all works. It's really hard to do, guys. That's one of the reasons why it takes us so long to get our software updates out, but it's one of the things we really leverage Google and others on. So to do software updates the right way, not easy, but it's a lot of fun for us to be able to build these kind of things and get it out to you. So the short answer is no. Anything that you've done in your panel will not be lost. Any sensors you've added, users you've added, things like that, when your panel comes back up, it will be exactly the way you had it, only now it will have new features.
Love that.
Yeah. Other questions?
2.2 available for IQ Panel 2s as well, or only for IQ Panel 2 Plus?
So that 2.3
2.3
software will be available for both IQ Panel 2 and IQ Panel 2 Plus. Great question.
I had a good one. A hardwire smoke work with the translator.
The hardwire smokes are part of the hardwire 16 fire that we talked about a little while ago, and that would be something that is coming soon. We're just waiting on certification on that.
Will the Skybell ring to secondary panels? I know it rings to the main panel.
Very
Not
good
yet.
question. Not yet. We are working on live answer and live view for the secondary tablets in the near future.
Average distance we can run power wire with the new 7-volt. It's like up to,
I want to say 50 feet or 20 feet or 7,000 feet. I don't know. That's a great technical question. Let's ask our technical teams.
oh my gosh, I think we caught up. Hold on. Refinements to motion detection on panel camera, getting motion notifications when no one was there. I'm curious what.
Well, so from a
the scenery
motion
is.
detection standpoint, this
that's a
panel
good
motion uses pixel change technology. You think about what that means. That means that
It
nobody
can
move.
be the light.
Nobody move. None of the pixels are changing right now on your screen. However, they probably are with fluctuations in light. I mean, even the wind blowing from our air conditioner could potentially create a pixel to change. And if the pixel changes, depending on what your sensitivity level is set at for the panel motion, it could determine that as motion. So that is one thing that you've got to be careful of when you're using a panel. And that's another reason why we don't use it as a security motion. So pixel change technology means that even one dot in all of this, and depending on what kind of
It's
screen
just so
resolution you have, I mean, this is 1280 by 800. Kelsey, where's your calculator? There's 1280 times 800, okay? That's over 1 million pixels here. That means out of one of the pixels that are here, if it changes, now I don't know if our motion detector is that precise, but you know, pixel change
has
technology basically
potential.
says if pixels change, that's interpreted as motion.
Okay.
So
Delay on remote panel when screensaver is on and it goes into arming screen. Will 2.3 fix that? I didn't know about that.
Say that one again.
Will 2.3 fix the delay on the remote panel when a screensaver is on and then it goes to arming screen?
After you wake it up, then I guess
Yeah.
is probably what they're asking. I don't know. I believe part of that was because of the speed of these second generation IQ remote. This new third generation IQ remote with its octa-core processor that Whitney loves to hear all the
Say
time.
again.
Octa-core
I like that.
should actually remedy that, but I don't know if that's a purposeful thing. If maybe there's a thing where it's syncing up with the primary panel or something. So I have not seen it yet.
Oh, shoot. Should we scrap our IQ original panels, or is there a future for them?
IQ first generation panels. If
Yeah.
if you're still installing IQ panel generation 1, bravo. First off, thank you for being a customer since the very beginning. Those panels, it's similar to basically trying to sell someone an iPhone 3G or something. I mean, you're basically installing a cellular radio that is sunsetting. And in many cases it's sunsetted not many, but in some cases it's sunsetted already in some cities. If you're using the first generation IQ panel, I would definitely recommend getting on IQ panel 2. And in terms of what you do with those first generation panels, I don't know how many you've got, but I have seen a few on eBay and other places, things like that. Maybe someone would be willing to buy them, but if you don't get rid of them soon, they're going to be collector's items because with an obsolete cellular radio, there's not much you can do with them anymore. And we've stopped supporting that. I mean, we support it.
It's about existing panels.
Question.
Can you just clarify?
Existing panels, as in?
Is there a future for them? Existing panels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this 2.3 software is another example of how the existing IQ Panel 2s.
Hold on, this is available for the original IQ panel?
No, not
Okay,
the first
So
one.
you say existing panels, you got to say which panel you're talking about, Lo.
Existing,
talking about the Gen
existing original Gen 1.
So
So
the
I
Gen
installed
1
a Gen 1 to a customer 5 years ago.
Got it.
What is that person's future?
What is their future?
Like
Got
the
it.
sunset and things like that.
I heard,
Uh-oh.
a little birdie told me, that we will be coming out with a program to allow some of our dealers to upgrade those fine fellows and ladies to an IQ Panel 2. So be watching for that. That's all I'll say on that right now because I've just barely heard about that this morning. So.
People are asking about if we're ready for 5G. I said LTE, baby. LTE will be
so LTE is long-term evolution. That's right now we're using 4G and then 5G, 6G, et cetera, things like that. Right now, there's nothing we're doing that requires 5G. Could we upgrade the radio in here to go 5G? I believe we can. I don't know that we will or need to because I believe even in a 5G scenario, 5G has automatic fallback to cover 3G signals. So that's a much more technical question. It's probably more about can we market the panel as this has a 5G radio? And as of right now, no, because the radio is still using a 4G band within there. But as 5G comes and we look at the purposes for 5G and what it can do and how it can do it, things like that, stay tuned. We'll see.
People are asking if we can give away hats and lanyards. That's been brought up multiple
Who asked that?
David Newman.
David Newman gets a
Nope,
hat.
that's not
No,
true.
it's-
Jason Jennings. Sorry, David.
Well, David still does because I already said it.
Okay.
So David Newman gets a hat and Jason Jennings gets a hat. Nice. Good questions. Other
Okay,
questions?
I think we're good. I mean, we can stay on, and I'm sure more questions
No,
will
we
come.
need to end it.
I'm
We've got lots of other things to do.
exhausted.
But guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your participation today. This has been really thrilling. Kelsey's got a lot of boxes of things to put together, but that's going to be fun. So make sure you blow some kisses in each one for them. We'll write you a fun little note. And,
I'll record that.
if you need me to blow some kisses in there, I'm really good at that.
Perfect.
I have
We'll
5
tag
kids. We
team
blow
it.
kisses all the day. And guys, thanks again for everything you do, for all the hard work you have. We hope you have a happy holidays. This is it. This is our last sales and marketing webinar for 2018, and it has been absolutely fun.
2019. This
really
is,
good job, but we will see
yeah,
you
this
next
has been
year.
awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, have a good week.
Bye. Thank you.